94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Hiya, it's 11 minutes after 9 o'clock, and we continue the conversation this morning. We've had to use a couple of fire extinguishers in the studio this morning because what? And this is what we are looking at. This is the situation. It's real. It's right here. And why we continue to have these conversations is for us to be aware of what's going on and then make decisions. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what part of the country or what social strata you find yourself, what part of the social strata you find yourself on. It affects you. It affects me. It affects everybody. And so let's talk and let's make it real. So we're getting into a conversation this hour, and we're going to do it with you. Lydia's going to tell us what that number is in just a second, but we're opening this conversation to have it with you today. But we're coming off of the stars seem to be aligning.
Yes.
And when we say stars, you'll understand that in just a little bit, because when this empowerment that we're talking about, this empowerment that seems to be, spreading its wings around the country, what exactly it is that we're talking about. Dennis?
Yes, so to the political class, as they are moving from one point of this country to another point, from one county to another county, from constituency to constituency, targeting different groups, the idea here is we are coming to empower you. And therefore, we have come with these monies to empower you. And so if it is a chama, it's a group of women, we're giving you 10,000 or 20,000. If you subdivide that amount of money, each person or individual then gets maybe 1,000 shillings. But to them, that's empowerment. So they have come up with different projects, different plans. So we have the Hustler Fund. And early this morning, I tried to after many days of trying to get access to this fund, finally managed, but I can only get 100 shillings, okay? So we have the Nyota Fund. And how much, again, are we talking about? Is it 5 billion?
Total 13.6 billion.
13.6 billion. 13.6 billion. All this is money coming from where again?
The World Bank.
Yes. So the World Bank is giving 13.6 billion Kenya shillings towards this project. Now, the project is called the Nyota Project. To empower, the other figures here, I'm seeing 800,000, the figures a million. So Cabinet Secretary for Youth Affairs, the Creative Economy and Sports, Ali Mvurya, says the national project is seeking to tackle the significant challenge of youth unemployment. And let's just talk about that for a minute. So there is a challenge of youth unemployment and other challenges. And this is through skills training, entrepreneurship support, and they want to give this money. So the 820,000, he said, the project targets 820 vulnerable youth aged between 18 and 29 and up to 35 years for persons with disabilities across 4 levels of education. The question we are asking this morning is a very simple one. First, have you tried to access these funds, whether it's Nyota or Hustler Fund? And has it really empowered you? Because it's all under the umbrella of empowerment. So we're coming up with an empowerment program so that there will be a difference in your life and in how you do things, and especially to the young people. So do you believe that this fund is really to empower you, and how, if you believe so?
The question is, is it there to empower you, or is it there to have you as a slave? That's the question.
Because we've been told by Ngujel here, who's just left the studio, that look, there are people who wake up in the morning, they don't have anywhere else to go. All they do is do a game of timing. So where is the next rally? They come and show up. They expect the 500 shillings or the 1,000 shillings. So all these monies that are being collected by the politicians and donations from friends in the name that, okay, the president has given this much, the deputy president has given this much, so CS so-and-so has given this much, and then our friends, we are coming with this money to empower you. And the target mostly is youth and women. So we are coming to empower you. The question is this really, really empowering? I'm curious to meet somebody who's actually received money from Hustler Fund or even from Nyota. Maybe, like we say with Shah, there may be success stories. We don't know. So it will be interesting to find out. So when you got that money, did you open up a business? What did it do for you? Is this money really geared towards empowering you genuinely?
I guess that is the question.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have to look at these things in reality here. Because when you talk about an empowerment fund or when you talk about empowerment activities, the assumption is that look at what civil society does when it does come to empowerment like this, is that usually there is seed capital that's given. Or just seeds itself. You put it in the ground, it grows. You get parent seed, you keep it, you sell the rest, and you continue.
Yes.
So that's how you get into a system whereby you don't have to go back to your source, but that you push yourself on and continue going. Are we seeing that these things are actually happening? They are called empowerment drives. And let's see what happened. There were empowerment drives in Western Kenya. They happened in Central Kenya. They happened in Western Kenya, Nyanza region. We understand that this week they're going to Kambani, whereby roads are even being, paved, and it's like, this table, it will be smooth as a baby's bum. It's going to happen. So now those empowerment drives will take place, but are people actually benefiting from these drives? Not that you get 500 shillings to buy food on that day, but that you see something that will help you with into the future. You tried to get onto the Nyota program this morning.
Yes, I did.
And what did they tell you?
Well, it told me to wait for the next announcement, and how to get into it is very, very simple. Star 254 hash. So you guys can also try it, see what you get. So once you dial that, so there's first the Hustler Fund, then there's Women Enterprise Fund, then there is Nyota Project. So if I go to Nyota Project, which is option 3, then it tells me, welcome to Nyota Project, empowering youth with opportunities. Because what we've been told is the whole idea and the funding from World Bank, which is 13.6 billion, is funding that is potentially going to help youth unemployment and and fix other social issues. So this unemployment conversation and access to these funds. So I select track. That's option 1. Then I select business support. So for most people, it's business support. So you want to start a small business somewhere. You want to start Puzamboga. You want to get a boda, whatever it is that you want to do. Think small scale. So you want access to start something small. So business support, option 1. The moment I do that, I get a message. Thank you for your interest in the business support track. The application window is now closed. We will notify you when the next phase opens. I don't know whether that's the same thing with you guys.
I've not tried yet. I
actually just went through the terms and conditions before you actually get to have that. And in the terms and conditions, you get an entire document that will now talk about the awareness of the project, Nyota Project Assistance Job Opportunities. It's a lot.
Okay, so essentially what we're saying in this first tranche, 50,000 shillings will be given to 100,000 people, which comes to a total of 5 billion shillings.
Yes.
What you're then able to do with that money, I guess it's up to you to start a business, to do something, fill a gap. But essentially what it is that it will empower people. Have you been able to try and have you been empowered? What was your question, Mr. Okari?
Have you tried to access these funds? Any of these funds?
Yeah.
It could be Nyota Fund or even Hustler Fund. We really want to understand because all these funds are essentially geared towards empowering.
Yep.
And we're trying to define what empowerment then means. So if you have access to the funds, you've withdrawn that money. Have you used that money for something meaningful or starting a business?
And how
what
has
did
it helped
do?
you?
Exactly.
All right, let's talk, folks. The number is 0732 142 650. That is 0732 142 650. Let's hear from you this morning. Let's keep it real and let us know what exactly it has or has not helped you with. Do tell us where you're calling in from as you do. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm very fine.
Please tell us, first of all, can we have you turn down your radio so we can hear you very well? And then let us know your name and where you're calling in from.
Yes, I'm calling from Kisumu. My name is Calvin.
Yes, Calvin, tell us. Is this an empowerment program? Have you benefited from it?
Not yet. I haven't benefited from it. But another perspective would be, this is just an avenue for the government to loop in young people. Because as we all know, the government now, as we speak, young people are not for this government. So this is an avenue to loop in and to bribe them so that they can be voted in for the second term. So personally, this money could be taken somewhere else, could be given to lecturers who are striking on right now. And we should empower our teachers as well, other than taking money to avenues that does not help. To me personally, I believe that this is an avenue to bribe in young people for 2027 campaign. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Calvin. Thanks for that insight. We'll take more of your calls this morning. 0732 142 650. Let's hear from you this morning, because it's interesting that folks say, well, here we are. It's an avenue for people to be bribed, but that money is actually not going to go to people this morning. Let's hear from more of you. Talk to us on 0732 142 650. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Morning to you.
Yes, please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Mohammed Fawz. I'm calling from Kitale.
Yes, Mohammed.
I'm seeing you're doing a good job.
Asante sana, sir.
For me, this empowerment, I think it's just a vocabulary. For me, maybe I can say it is women, yani it is an empowerment program.
Empowerment?
Yes.
Okay.
For me, I can say it is an empowerment program, because I heard Dennis Okari saying, like, he hates politics. Most of Kenyans have lost touch with the political class. But the political class, the people we hate, are the same people who are rolling the programs. The World Bank is the one funding the program for youth empowerment. And the same thing you see, we as Africans, we have problems with the colonial masters who are taking, who are giving us the empowerment at the same time. So for me, I see like what you are saying, it is kind of an enslavement. For me, I take it as that. Thank you.
Okay, Mohammed, so empowerment, according to you, is enslavement?
No, I'm not saying, what I'm saying is empowerment should be something that comes from the people themselves. It's something that is driven by ourselves. But like you see, when you talk to the Mheshimiwa who was there, we were looking at the people who are funding the voters. Then we went up to who is funding the political class. He was unable to explain who is funding the political class. So it means when it reaches a point, we can't explain the hand behind who is funding our political class, who is now funding us, but we know we've lost faith with the political class, and they are the same people who are rolling these programs. Then we see we have, like Africans, you can see people talking of Pan-Africanism, Africa should rise up against the colonial masters. But we see the same institutions which are kind of colonial driven at the same institutions that are funding the programs to empower the Africans again.
I hear you.
That's my only problem.
I hear you, Fawz, and thanks for those thoughts this morning and for sharing those with us. I hear some from other callers this morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Steve Mwangi. I'm calling from Nairobi.
Yes, Steve, what are your thoughts around this? Is it empowerment?
I want to concur with the person who has just said is an enslavement an enslavement, because I don't think the governments all over, it should be creating environment for people to be able to invest. But it cannot be able to give 5,000 or 50,000 and call that a business and an empowerment. What they should do, in my opinion, is to create an environment whereby few people get the money, they invest, and they employ or they engage the other citizens. But the government will not be able to collect taxes or get these grants they're getting from the World Bank and say they can go to empower the whole nation. It's not going to be possible, because they are relying on the money that they are being given or the taxes that be able to tax people. So I would think, and again, the other thing is there are no programs to support the people who are being empowered. So apart from giving money, how does the government follow up on that money to know that the money was put in proper use, and also the person was able to be able to put that money into a good account for that finances? So for me, I don't think it's the best way to go.
Good question, Steve Wangi. Thanks for your comments this morning. Let's hear from some others. Of course, those are grounded ones this morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Yes, good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is John Yakimwere, and I'm calling from Nairobi.
Yes, John, what do you think about the empowerment program? Is it working? No?
It is not working according to me. It is just a plot by the political class to hoodwink Kenyans so that they can be voted in the upcoming elections. Because you can't just something like a bribe. Yeah, it's not empowerment. Yeah, because you can't empower me with around 500 shillings. I can't do anything with around 500 or 200 shillings. It can't help me anywhere. For example, the Nyota program. You see, they're saying that they're giving every youth around 50,000. Doing business in Kenya is very difficult.
Not every youth even, just 100,000 so far. But please carry on.
Yeah, see, that money is very little money. Yeah, it can't do anything. Yeah, it's not helpful to the ordinary Kenyans. Yeah.
All right. We hear you, Joe. Thanks for calling in this morning. Of course, your thoughts make sense for a lot of people. We'll hear from more this morning. Let's hear from Blackwater calling in from Mombasa. Good morning. Hey, Blackwater, how are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing today, guys?
Doing all right. Thanks for calling in. Let us know what your thoughts are around this whole empowerment.
Let me tell you, I like the way the guy said this is what you call it, empowerment. It's not empowerment, it's empowerment. Empowerment is when you say free education. All right? Empowerment is when you create a conducive atmosphere whereby people can go and get loans at a low interest rate to do some business. Remember, there's a saying that says, teach me how to fish. Don't give me fish. So right now, this is just empowerment, and we know it. It's just a gimmick, how to get votes. It's just a gimmick. Playing with the emotions of the common man. That's all they're doing. It's very sad.
I hear you, man. And these are the thoughts, and this is what's coming out. Blackwater, thanks for tuning in. Always sharing your thoughts with us. Asante sana.
All right, I'll be there.
Cheers. Let's also hear from Maggie, calling in from Vihiga. Maggie, good morning. Sure. Good morning. How are you?
Mzuri sana.
Hebu tuambie sasa vile unafikiria juu ya hii empowerment Nyota kwanza.
Empowerment hii ya Nyota mimi nimefurahi sana. Kwa sababu hata mimi nimeambia mjukuu yangu, wewe chukua hii pesa tuweke biashara ya kuku. Tutengeneze kuku hapa, uwe ukipata ndani pesa. Na ule mtu mwenye amekupatia ndoano ya kutoa samaki, na ule mwenye amekupea ugali ya siku ya leo, ni mgani mzuri. Serikali imefanya mzuri, hata kama tunasema ni ya World Bank. Mimi saa hii nimepewa samaki ya World Bank. Ukiona kwa kidimbi yangu inacheza ni kama mtu anacheza disco. Mwana ninalisha samaki, nitatoa ndani pesa. Tufunze watoto wetu ukulima. Sasa mtoto kama amefika class 7, amefika class 8, anaweza enda fanya ofisi gani? Anaweza fanya kazi gani ya muhimu? Si ni kazi aingie kwa shamba tukule. Kwa sababu Mungu alisema ninampa nchi wanadamu. Muingie katika hii udongo, mkule ndani mpaka wakati mtarudia mimi. Na sisi tumekeuka sheria ya Mungu. Na tena tukirudi baba, hii Kenya tuitengeneze. Kwa sababu tunaambia Biblia, njooni tusemezane. Asema Bwana majeshi, japo kwa nyekundu kama damu, itasafishwa nyeupe kama theluji. Waacha watoto wapewe hii Nyota. Hata mimi nikae hapa na mjukuu yangu nimfunze vile tunafuga kuku. Ukifuga kuku 300 utatoa shilingi 100 na kitu kwa mwezi. Mayai. Asante sana watoto yangu. Mungu awasaidie kwa studio. Umenipea maneno mzuri, nishoshwa viiga huyu. Nami nafunza vijana wajifunze kutoa samaki. Asante.
Asante sana Shosho. Okay, Shosho says wacha watu wapewe nini? Wapewe Nyota. Okay, sawa. So I guess what? Look, she has a point at some level, isn't it? Doesn't she? Let's have some other calls. Not to forget that number this morning, 0732-142650. Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
How are you, sir?
I'm very fine.
Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Moriarty.
Yes, Moriarty.
Moriarty is the CEO Youth Fund.
Okay, yes, sir. Good morning.
And I've listened to the conversation this morning, and I thought I should also give my contribution.
It would be lovely to hear from you.
Well, Nyota program is, we are in the same State Department, and it's a World Bank funded program. And it is a very good program for the young people. I've listened to some of the comments from the young people indicating that it's empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
Some are not very sure if really government is serious in terms of empowering young people. So because of those reasons, I thought I should come in and advise the young people that the program is well intended. The money is there for the young people. The 50,000, I want to assure you, 50,000 is a lot of money for the young people. I can tell you because we have been in this space for some time and we understand the challenge that young people face. The main challenge that young people go through basically is lack of funding. There are young people who even want 1,000 a day to fuel their motorbikes, to fuel their stock, so that they are able to do business in that day. So 50,000 for 100,000 young people, I tell you, is a lot of money, and it has an impact in the business of a young person. So
how Bwana CEO, of course, in terms of questions that are coming from folks, 100,000 people is not even a fifth of the population of Nairobi, for example. How do you pick and choose who gets it, who doesn't get it? And then how then do you make sure moving ahead that you're able to manage and follow up to ensure that it actually is empowerment?
Now, one thing is that, look at 100,000 as supporting 100,000 families in Kenya. To us, that's a very big number. Actually, if you support 20 young people, these 20 young people are able to engage about 5 or more other young people, in their businesses. So the effect is not only for the 100,000 young people who are directly benefiting from this program. It has an effect for the others who rely on that small business that is being established. I tell you, in Kenya, you can begin a kinyozi business, and you employ more than 5 young men. Really, they are able to make money, and they are able to be kept busy within that period of time. So 50,000 is not a small amount of money. Actually, it's a lot of money for the young people. I can tell you, we have dealt with young people here who would not even want 50,000. They just come to us wanting 20,000 so that they are able to establish a small business. So it's a big project, and it's good for the young people of this country.
Bwana CEO, question is, the young people you're talking to are the very same young people who have been party to our youth fund, Hustler Fund. And with all these funds, there is no clarity on where they are. So right now we have a new fund called Nyota Fund, and it has been said it is there for them. But they're asking the question, how different is this from all these other funds that have been there before?
Actually, the beauty of this country is that we have so many funding systems for the young people. Now, Dennis, Osato, look at this. 100,000 Kenyans get money from the Nyota funding framework. Youth Fund also, we are doing our own funding up to the age of 35. We have also our numbers. We have a fund called Women Fund. There are also young people benefiting from that system. We have other funds like Uwezo Fund. We have UNGAF. There are so many other funding systems in this country. So cumulatively, the impact that these funds are creating is huge. So for Nyota Fund to come in with that program and identifying, of course, I listened earlier. You tried to register. The registration is already closed. It's done. So now these guys are being taken to another level. There's a level whereby they'll be sensitized and trained before they are given the funding. Cumulatively, I can tell you that all these funds are having an impact in this country, and it's good actually for the young people who are in it, because they are benefiting from all these other programs.
Dennis here, I have a question. Because you're looking at these funds and you're looking at a general population, because you have your targets. I'm looking at a general population of 18 to 29 young people, because the idea here is to target the young people and tackle the significant challenge of youth unemployment. I'm curious to know, apart from just giving out the cash directly, because you earlier stated somebody can open a kinyozi. That kinyozi you said can employ another 5 people.
5 also.
Today's economy, and you look at the licenses setting up the business itself. Maybe it's a solo kinyozi. You also mentioned somebody fueling their border. That's just for the day. I'm curious to know this second and third bit about skills training and mentorship and linking these same young people to employment opportunities when you're trying to tackle unemployment by giving out that money. How is that going to work?
Actually, you look at all these funds, plus the one I'm heading, we don't just give out money. Actually, prior to making a disbursement to any youth, we do what we call pre-disbursement training. We prepare the young people fully, and we disperse when we are so sure that this money will not be diverted to anything. This money will only be put into that business so that the business is properly supported. The same case to Nyota program. You look at the setting of the Nyota program, prior to accessing the 50,000, they are taken through a program. The last phase of the program is where now the disbursement takes place. Disbursement is disbursed, money is disbursed to the young people who have gone through the skills enhancement program. One reason why we do that is to ensure that these businesses are sustainable, because you don't just give money to young people without really preparing them for the business that they want to undertake. They come with the proposals. You look at the proposals, you give and support that you may want to give. You review that again. The disbursement is at the end, where you are so guaranteed that these young people will not divert these resources to anything else. And that's how we are structured. All these funds in the country, that's how they are structured.
And this is the interesting thing. Sorry, Bwana CEO, because I mean, probably the last bit that we can get from you now is that there's so many of these funds. We can name them and count them in all our digits. From Uwezo Fund to Youth Fund to now Nyota to the Women's Empowerment Fund to the Hustler Fund.
Yes.
There's so many funds. It's kind of like the same thing we have with education, whereby, you know, you've got the members of parliament giving bursary, you've got the county funds bursary, you've got the president's fund, you've got, it's all over the place. The question is, how are you able to ensure? What do you do that you will say for real somebody's life has been changed because of these funds, that surely it is empowerment? You've said that you go through the process when you make sure that at the end of the process is where you give the funds. How then do you know that this person's life, before you gave them the 50,000, Bob, and after 6 months, how did you do your M&E? How do you make sure that, yes, do you follow up? Do you come back and say, okay, you had one motorcycle today, you have 2 tomorrow, you're feeding your family, your children are going to school. How do you do that? What mechanisms do you have in place to ensure?
A very good question, too. This is what happens. First, all these funds are serving a particular cadre of population. Youth Fund, we are serving those between the age of 18 and 35. Women Fund are funding the women. Weather Fund are mainly focused on the disabled. Now, Hustler Fund, it was targeting those young people and women who want, low value loans to support their small enterprises.
No, sorry.
I mentioned about the 500 shillings.
Sorry, Bwana CEO. Yes? The president is on record talking about a gentleman who's gotten up to 1 million shillings from the Hustler Fund and has changed his life. It was not targeting people with 500, Bob.
He mentioned that, but that young man didn't come to borrow 1 million the first time. It accumulated over time. This funding, the way they are modeled is that you come and borrow small, so that you keep graduating. The graduation is what motivates a borrower to come back and repay and borrow again and borrow again. So over time, your limit keeps on increasing so that you are motivated to make the repayment. Now, coming to what you say, your earlier question, how do we ensure that these funds indeed have an impact? Every office in all these funds, we have our monitoring and evaluation offices. Our officers actually one key assignment we have for our field officers is make visits to these young people who are undertaking these businesses. They walk in there, they see what they are doing, they give them the support that is required. I can tell you, we have reports here every day of the young people who are doing businesses and supported by our officers on the ground. We capacity build our officers on the ground so that they fully appreciate and understand the kind of support that these young people need on the ground. So the visits they make every time, the kind of business advices they give, really has an impact in terms of the growth of those businesses.
Bwana CEO, thank you. We're going to hear from more Kenyans now. I would urge you to keep listening to what they have to say. It might actually help in some of the things.
Thank you. I'm your fan. Actually, I'm your fan. I keep listening to Space FM. Thank you so much for what you're doing. You're doing a very good job.
Asante sana, and thank you for calling in. Really appreciate that. CEO Mureta from the Youth Fund. Asante sana for those calls. We'll take more of your calls this morning. Not to forget, the number is 0732 142 650. Tell us how you are getting along with the empowerment from this fund. And there they are already, calls coming in. Let's hear from you. Tell us your name and where you're calling in from this morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name, sir? If I can ask you to turn down the volume on your radio, then we can hear you.
Yes, my name is Amos Mwangangi.
Turn down the volume on your radio, sir.
Yes, Amos Mwangangi from Voi. I would like to give my contribution on this Hustler Fund and Nyota Fund.
Mwangangi, I need you to turn down the volume on your radio so that we can hear you.
Okay. Yes. Yes, so are you now able to hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you better. All right, tell us what you think about this empowerment fund, sir.
Okay, yes. So my name is Amos Mwangangi. I'm currently in Voi, Taita Taveta. So I would like to give my contribution on these Hustler funds and Nyota funds. For me, as a youth, what I can say is that these funds, it's helping youth, because last month we had these these political circles which is going around, being led by the deputy president, and we saw many youths, border youths, and the youths who have been aligned into different circles being helped by these funds. Yesterday again, I was watching in Siaya, whereby the deputy president was leading a fund mobilization for the border people. Again, I saw a group which was well organized, being assisted by the government to keep on going. So what I can comment is that as a youth, this fund is this fund is being given to us, or else to the citizens, to those who have organized themselves to grow.
Mwangangi, if I can just ask a question, do you belong in any society, any circle, and have you received any fund, and what did it take for you to get it?
Yes, I belong to a circle. Actually, I belong to a circle known as Taita Taveta Youth, and during the contribution that was led by the deputy president, our group got 50,000. And actually, what I can commend is that that fund has helped us to grow our organization, and we are aiming to do a lot, or else to achieve what we didn't achieve because of lack of funds. So generally, what I can say is that for a person who will get, or else for a group which will get the fund, and they use that fund well, it will help them to make a step ahead. The only challenge comes whereby a third fund is given to somebody, and maybe you don't have or else you don't have an initiative, or else on how you want to use the funds. There you will see we will have a circle, or else those political circles which are not assisting Kenyans. The only thing which I could ask the government, it is to ensure that they align themselves with the cooperative, or else the SME, the SME ministry, so that it can know those circles which have been registered under the SME or else under the Ministry of Cooperatives, so that they mostly, as they come to mashinani, they can mostly support those circles.
All right.
What
Thanks, thanks for your call, Mwangangi. Let's hear from some other callers this morning. Thank you for calling in. And of course, good to hear that if that's helping, then fantastic. Let's hear from some other folks this morning. Taking your calls on 0732 142 650. And they're coming in like water, I'm telling you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Utawala. My name is Ishmael.
Yes, Ishmael.
I wanted to contribute to this conversation.
Yes.
And first of all, I tried applying for youth fund early this year. And I really went through a lot of challenges, and at the end of it, I did not even manage to get it. And yesterday, guess what? The other week, they opened the Nyota project. I applied for it. They sent a message. At least that day, they sent a message informing me about I should share my word. I don't know my word, where the money should come or where they should find me. And okay, I'll share it, but I also don't trust this thing. About empowerment, the real empowerment should come through things like free education, free health, and not whatever they are doing. When you give a lady, the other day we saw ladies getting 64 shillings in an empowerment project. Is that empowerment? That is not empowerment for sure. The CEO you are talking to talked about starting a kinyozi with 50,000 shillings. I once happened to have 60,000 shillings in my account, and I decided to start a kinyozi. I'm telling you, it's failed drastically. You need to have at least money that can run your business for at least 6 months for it to be successful.
So if you got Ishmael. So with 50,000 shillings.
I had 60,000
You had 60,000 shillings? You were not able...
60,000 shillings, I decided to open a kinyozi.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, guess what? The kinyozi did not even run for even 2 months. And I was the one who was operating it, funny enough. It really costs a lot to run a business in Kenya, because even for the kinyozi, I did not even have the license. I was just running it just like that, you see? It's a challenge. You can't start a kinyozi business with 50,000. You need like even more than 300,000, because you have to run it for at least 6 months for it to pick. How many people know that you have a kinyozi here, or you have started a kinyozi at a certain location? You see, whatever these guys are doing is just for formality. They are formalizing informalities, and that's not fine. I think the government should sit down, look for better ways. Like, even the president is doing the wrong thing. You can't just run up and down claiming you want to give youth this money. How many youth have benefited from the youth fund? I haven't myself. We even had a group, Chama, with I guess 10 people. We tried to apply that money. Imagine we didn't even get a bulb. The process is still on. I don't know what.
Well, I mean, good to hear those insights as well. Ishmael, thank you so much for sharing. And it makes part of the conversation to keep going forward for us to be well aware of what's really going on. Thank you for sharing your thoughts this morning.
Okay, say hi to Dennis and Danny.
They have been greeted. Sawa. All right.
You.
So let's hear from some others this morning. Not to forget, that number is 0732 142 650. More calls coming in this morning. Let's hear your name and where you're calling in from this morning. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. Kindly turn down the volume on your radio so that we can hear you.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. Kindly turn down the volume on your radio so that we can hear you.
Yes. Hello.
I need you to turn down the volume on your radio, sir.
Hello.
All right, let's take some other calls coming in this morning. As you call, do turn on the volume on the radio so that we can hear you. Taking more calls this morning. Tell us where you're calling from and your name as well. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Oh, my name.
Sorry?
My name is Alan.
Yes, Alan. Tell us your name. Tell us where you're calling from, and tell us what you think about empowerment programs and if they're working.
I'm calling you from Kiambu.
Yes.
There was a time I tried to apply for that program in Nyota. I tried to apply, then it went through. They took all my documents, and then there was another process where they were saying they wanted to test. I don't know exactly what they were testing, but they said they were testing something. So that was the problem, because there was no way to attend that test. I tried even calling them, and told them they gave me a number. There was a free number, so I tried to call that number. Like they can explain to me how you were going to sit for that. They were calling it a test, and I can tell you there was no clear way. I even went ahead to check online to see if there is a way to attend that test. There wasn't. So they have my document. It's like halfway registered. And this is the problem we have with this program. You have a program, it has a very good goal. The problem is there's no monitoring, there's no evaluation. You cannot tell how successful was the program, but you will still have to come up with another program and fund it, And the previous program did not go through, or we cannot tell how successful it was. They don't have any monitoring. They don't have a way to track how much the program was successful. And this is a problem because this is a debt that you are taking for the country, and everyone will have to pay for it.
Indeed.
So that is my concern.
And a good concerns, of course, Alan. Thank you for calling in this morning and sharing your thoughts around this. We'll take more calls as we get through. Do call us on 0732 142 650. Tell us your name and where you're calling in from. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. This is Daniel from Mombasa.
Yes, Daniel. Tell us your thoughts around this. Good morning from Nairobi to Mombasa. Let us know what your thoughts are around these empowerment programs.
Well, the plan is idiotic. I'm so sorry. I'm a Gen Z. I have to be blunt. The plan is idiotic. It's underfunded. Come on. We cannot have that little kind of funds to start a business in this economy in Kenya. The idea... implementation needs a lot of capital, and if at all you have to go through an idea, a business, it has to be fully funded. You have to go in throughout, and the entire structure behind what we are doing right now, there's no clear structure of whatever they are trying to do. You can look at some of the successful people here in Mombasa, because I've been to Mombasa, I've been to Wajir. Some of the most successful people here, the youths, they are very well structured. Most of them are Muslims. I'm so sorry. That's just him. They are very well structured according to what the idea implementation, the feasibility analysis. So I really appreciate what they are doing, but it's still underfunding. As far as I'm concerned, we're just chasing our own tails for now. Thank you very much.
Daniel, thanks for your call this morning. Of course, appreciate that. We'll hear from more folks as this part of this conversation continues. I mean, so folks, this is what we're hearing, isn't it? For a lot of people, it may be a good idea, but it's not working for a number of people.
It's not, because again, the assumption is, look, by last year, our population was around 55-point-something million. Mm-hmm. Out of the age group that they're targeting, 18 to 29, you're looking at around 12-point-something million young people. So look at the scale and the numbers that you're trying to empower. The focus then on creating an enabling environment where then a lot more will benefit from the infrastructure, for example. And also there's this assumption that if you're targeting young people and you're tackling youth unemployment, it's boda, mama mboga, kinyozi, the person when anachoma mahindi, somebody at a car wash. Yeah. We are assuming these are the jobs young people want, or watomjengo, so you have housing, which is a great thing, but you're assuming watomjengo, they're young people. What happens to a lot of these educated graduates
who don't have a job to do?
Who don't have jobs, and they're in the digital space. So what happens to them? Because the focus then seems to be, if you have a boda, you can get that money fuel. Or you can have a Sakura Chama where you have bodas, you can get 50K, build a shed, or come together, put it in a savings account. But you have people who are being churned out of universities and colleges, graduates, engineers, doctors, people very, very smart and very, very... I'm not saying the others are not educated, because you have engineers, again, who've ended up doing boda business. We've interviewed them here. But what are you doing then with that space? And then are you thinking of the future where what's beyond this boda?
And then again, you look at, fine, we're empowering these young people, we're giving them 50,000 bob sour, but are we addressing the other issues like the cost of doing businesses in terms of registering a business in this country? Because I will go to buy as a kinyozi, that single machine is around 20,000 bob. So how many machines will I buy with 50,000 shillings, pay rent, pay staff and all these other people? So you look at what you're trying to do vis-a-vis other supporting factors, and it is not tenable to do business with what it is you're trying to achieve, because the cost of doing business is high.
It's very high, and you're not discounting permits, fees, licenses. The example that the CEO gave us of the kinyozi, for example, 50K, you need a barber's chair, which is around 15 to 20,000, like you're saying.
Yes.
You need clippers. Clippers are expensive, so you're talking about the range of 5,000, for example, 5,000 to 8,000 thereabouts. Sterilizers, disinfectants. You have to get mirrors. You have to have a shelf setup or just a simple setup.
You need water.
You need water.
Power.
You need seats. You need to pay rent. You need towels. You need cleaning supplies. Then you have miscellaneous for any other thing that you would want to.
You need licenses.
You need licenses. It's over 50K.
We were told here 336,000 shillings is by the time you finish doing your licenses and everything is what you need to operate. What was the business that somebody wanted to do? Delivery of water services for something.
Just you want to sell mineral water?
Yeah.
You'll need over 300,000.
Yeah, 336. Can't forget that number. Emblazoned in my mind. Let's take one last call before we get towards the end of this. Hello, good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
So, I'm Alex Kinyanjui.
Yes, Alex.
I'm calling from Kiharu.
Yes, Alex. Tell us what you think about the empowerment programs.
So, I don't know. It's a good...
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.